First off, let me just say that this is going to be spoiler free. I am not about that life. This has been 10 years in the making. Spoilers are not cool, my fam. Don't do it. I was absolutely terrified going into this movie, but I think that it is amazing. It was wonderful. I loved it, actually. I have to say that I could not have thought of a better way to end this journey than with Endgame. This movie will please every faction of the fandom. Of course, Endgame will be entertaining for your casual Avengers fan, but this movie is homage to the fans. This is a celebration of the Avengers, and it is everything I could have ever wanted. Infinity War left me rather betrayed, but I do feel that Endgame lived up to its fullest potential, and I absolutely loved it. I only cried once, so that was good. The way that the plot is structured is just absolutely genius. I loved it. It was the absolute best way to celebrate the journey that we've been on with the Avengers from the very beginning up until now. This movie was rather long, at 3 hours, okay? It just is. That's fact. But I felt like it was absolutely necessary. Even though there was such a huge problem to solve, each character got the time that they deserved, and they had the freedom and the space to explore their own values, their stories, and we really got to dive into each character and see exactly what they were going through. One of my biggest issues with Infinity War was how little screen time each character got. That is fully fixed in Endgame, and every character gets the amount of time and attention that they deserve. This movie, rather than being about Iron Man, Captain America, or Black Widow, it's about Tony Stark and Steve Rogers and Natasha Romanoff and the battles that they fought and who they are as people, the ones that we look up to. The fandom isn't here for their superheroes, they're here for their people. We love our heroes in battle, but we love our heroes in real life even more. This movie managed to show us the best side of every character and give them all happiness. It was inevitable that at some point there would be an ending. As Tony says, part of the journey is the end, but the story can't just continue on forever. Every story has an end. And because no one is willing to just end the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it would have to be an end to the stories of some characters. And that, I think, is unavoidable. It had to happen. The question was the way in which it would be executed, and I think that it was done perfectly here. I think that the movie makers really paid attention to the love that the fans have for their favorite characters, and they were careful to give them everything that they wanted from this film. I literally saw things that I have been hearing about on the internet that people were like, oh, we need more of so-and-so, or we need more of this relationship, or I saw so much of that in the movie that it was literally mind-blowing. It's like you never think you would see the day, but then it happens and you're like, I cannot believe my eyes right now. I saw things that I didn't even know I needed, but no. It was shocking in a good way. Another big issue that I had with Infinity War was the amount of time that the story spent on Thanos. Luckily, that was very different in Endgame. We got to really watch our heroes whom we came to see, rather than focusing so much on the villains. I had an issue with the fact that the Avengers never actually got together and fought a battle properly. That was fixed, and it was beautiful. I think that this movie was filled with love and respect for the characters, because even as they suffer defeat or make mistakes throughout the story, they are still treated as heroes, which is exactly what the audience feels about them, and the way that it's portrayed on screen is great. Endgame doesn't take itself too seriously. Our favorite wisecracking Avengers are back. The movie is absurd at times, but in a way that's funny and goofy and lovable. There are jokes, there are Easter eggs, there's flashbacks, there's references. It's amazing. The more invested you've been in the MCU, the more you're gonna love this movie. This movie seems crafted to give you moments of joy. The things that I see, I feel happiness. Like, even if not for myself, then for others who I know wanted this to happen. To others, it might seem like small jokes or little tidbits, but for some people, it really does mean a lot. If you've been waiting years and years to see something on screen and then you do, it is a big deal. Honestly, if you looked at any of the other Avengers movies and you wish that there was something in it that wasn't, chances are you're going to find it in Endgame. The movie isn't all fun and games, but the way that the material has been handled makes you feel like it's coming out of a place of love rather than necessity or rashness. That's the main difference between Infinity War and Endgame. Infinity War felt like a villain was just throwing pain and misery at the Avengers, and it was difficult to watch. Endgame feels like you're with them and you're helping them and you're celebrating them rather than just watching them get squashed over and over. Honestly, this movie is just a celebration of the MCU in its entirety. But at the same time, it's a return to the roots of the Avengers, the truth of these 6 heroes that we know and love. Even while giving us the worst blow in the entire MCU, it still makes you feel like every character in the movie seems to have found peace and happiness at last, to have fulfilled their destiny and upheld their values. And somehow it really does soften the blow to the audience. I love the movie, except the part that made me cry. The rest of it was great.
It is 8:30 a.m. and we are on the way to watch Endgame. Why are we going at such a godforsaken time? Because this is the only show that was available.